Hello and welcome to Buzz Behind Sports and ISM Initiative. This is our host Asta, and today we have on our show Harshita More ma'am. Harshita More ma'am is a data scientist and she has been teaching statistics for the last 7 years, and she's also been teaching sports data analytics. We have her on our show to talk about a very interesting topic, that is sports data analysis. So let's start right away. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to the show. So, starting things off, sports analytics is mainly a blend of sports and analytics. So, for the layman, could you explain what this term data analysis mean?
Okay, so data analysis is basically examining and interpreting the data to make some informed decision while recognizing the patterns we have in the data so that it will be helpful for the teams, for the performance of the individual player or for the entire team performance, etc.
Okay. On a related note, can we talk let's talk about the evolution of the landscape of sports analytics careers, and how have you seen it change over the years?
So in last few years, since there are many technological development in the every field, so what has happened in the normal field also, there are many sensors and cameras. So because of which there is enormous data which has been generated, and we can use this data to develop our performance or develop the performance of the athletes or team, right? So this data is very useful, and we can analyze this data to make our future interpretations. So this process is going on for last few years, and which is going to get developed over the years also.
Okay, so would you say that the interpretations that we have or the forecasting that we have
Yeah.
is based on this data that we get from the previous
Yeah,
years?
exactly. So this data, and again there is a data which is related to business also, which actually there are basically two types of data: on-field data and off-field data. So these two types of data, they are very useful for the analysis purpose.
Okay. And on a related note, you talked about off-field data analytics. So, can you explain us the business side of it and how is it beneficial for the organizations who are using the data
Yeah.
to analyze and interpret the
Yeah.
performance of the athletes or the team?
Yeah, so off-field data is basically the data which is generated while the match was going on, but it is useful after the match has happened. Okay, so once the sport is over, that data is evaluated for the future reference. So, what is the action that should be taken in the future? That will be useful. Okay, so off-field data is basically used for the business purpose, like sports sponsorship or suppose, like IPL auction. So in IPL auction, what happens? Your the player's previous match performance is evaluated, and based on that, the player selection will take place, right? So same thing happens in off-field data analytics. It is used for the player's performance also. It is used for ticket sales. It is used for brand. It is used for fan engagement, etc.
So, would you say that you talked about the ticket sales. So, can you explain how it is affected by the data analysis that we do?
Yeah, so basically the ticket sales are dependent on your location of the match, your player's performance. So if you know that Virat Kohli has the higher price than any other new player, right?
Mhm.
So obviously you will choose the location, and if you will choose the player accordingly so that it will get the highest demand.
Mhm.
And many fans will be there who will be willing to watch the match, right? So it is actually based on many categories. So you will have to decide which category is more important at which time.
Okay, understood. And talking about off-field data analytics, this movie comes to my mind, Moneyball.
Moneyball.
So I think we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us how it has affected sports
Yeah.
data analysis, because that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And what we have seen in the movie, I am very curious personally to know if that is the real scenario which actually takes place.
Actually, it is not a real scenario. Yeah, obviously the analysts are very useful in the game's entire game, but it is not like every time analyst is going to get highlighted in the real world. So role is very important, but it is not like you will be highlighted each and every time, your work will be highlighted each and every time. So it is like behind the scene work basically. So you will be analyzing each and every player's performance, you will be analyzing the entire game, like he did in the Moneyball also, the analyst. If you remember, it was based on 2001 match,
Yes.
American League,
Yes.
right? So that procedure is going to happen, you will be evaluating everything. It is just that you may or may not get that much fame,
Right.
because not every time everyone gets famous.
Yes.
That person got famous because he was the first person
Yes.
who did that.
Right.
So that was the reason.
And coming back to on-field data analytics
Yeah.
that you talked about, so currently are we currently seeing a rise of it, like in the importance of sports data being used by teams or athletes or
Yeah.
leagues to improve their performance?
Yeah. So there is an increase in the data which is being used for the athlete's performance, because there are many, what we say, elements attached to that. So we can basically use the practice data of the athletes to evaluate the future performance he will be doing. What performance he will be giving at the time of actual match, right?
Okay.
So at the time of practice, if we know that there are some positives and some negatives attached to the performance, so the coach may focus on the positives and can try to eliminate the negative points attached to them. Right, so this can happen, we can evaluate that performance. Again, it is required for the injury prevention also. Now if we know that what is the physique of that athlete, we can prevent the future injuries also. Likewise, we can increase the fan engagement also.
Okay.
So if we know that there are many like technology, since technology is advancing, the visualization has become quite good, we can say, right? In the cricket match also we see some visualization which make things easier for us to watch, right? So because of these visualization, fans are being attached towards the game. So I think that is the reason.
So when we talk about on-field data analytics, I personally have seen one of my friends working on the screen when the game is taking place, and there is a software, and he can track the movements of it. So can you give us some examples of what kind of tools or methods are used in sports analysis?
Okay, so about the methods, generally statistical methods are widely used, all kind of statistical methods. You should have the statistical knowledge from the beginning if you are choosing analytics. Next, we use different types of technologies. So starting from Python, R, if you know these softwares, any of these. It totally depends on whatever work you are doing. So Python and R are most widely used softwares. After that, there are few visualization softwares like Tableau and Power BI.
Yes.
So yeah, these visualization softwares are also there, because analysis is actually a procedure and visualization makes that procedure even easier. So these visualization softwares are widely used.
Okay, so it is basically combining the statistics and the visualization,
Exactly. Yes.
and then getting the data out
exactly.
of it. Okay, and now in today's world, we all are seeing the rise in the implementation of AI in every sport,
yes.
in every field, basically.
Exactly.
So, what would you say? What impact AI would have in sports data analysis?
So it will make us predict the future, what we say, performance of everything. We can predict the performance of the individual player also, we can predict the matches also. How it will be. See, nowadays we can predict the weather also, right? How it is going to take place. So it is going to make the future prediction smoothly and correctly, I may say. So that thing will happen. Again, because of AI, the predictive modeling has increased now, or it has become more powerful. So that is going to help us. Again, as the technology increases, the fan engagement is also going to increase, because obviously the visualization will increase. Again, if the technology is going to increase, that is going to increase the online gaming also.
Right.
Obviously, and online gaming, what we say, virtual reality, that will be developed afterwards. And again, online gamers, numbers of online gamers is going to increase because of that.
Okay. And now, so there's this term when we talk about sports data analysis, there's one term that we hear quite often, which is big data.
Yeah.
So can you shed some light on it?
Yeah. So big data, generally we use it as a volume. So volume, if the data volume is large, obviously it is going to be big data. But it is actually sometimes velocity wise also. Now how velocity wise, whenever we are talking about on-field data takes place when the match is going on, right? So match is going on at some pace. That means what? At the same velocity, the data is getting generated and we are acting on the data along with the match. Right, so that is velocity wise. Volume wise, because obviously by the volume it is large.
Right.
And again, there are different types of data also, which are structured data, unstructured data. So basically, structured data is the traditional data which we have. Semi-structured data is the data which is available in different formats which are not generally useful, but we can convert the data. That is semi-structured data. And there is one thing that is called as unstructured data. Unstructured data is basically the data of which we get from social media comments or from any videos, etc. So these three types of data is also there. So big data is in different formats, and we can call it big by volume also, big by velocity also.
Okay. So when we talk about big data, the one thing that comes to my mind, or my mind is curious, so how do we collect the data and how do we store such huge data? Because lots of matches are taking place at the same time. And then to keep a track of it, I think would be very difficult. So how are people managing such huge data?
Yes.
Data sets?
So because of few sensors and even the smartwatches which we wear, and there are cameras everywhere on the field. So because of these technologies, what is happening? The data is getting generated continuously. And to store this data, obviously we rely generally on cloud-based technologies. So like Google Cloud, if you have worked upon it, and AWS, if you know.
Yes.
Right. So these are cloud-based technologies which we generally use to store our data. Now, this storage is used afterwards to analyze the data. Again, if you are doing it while the match is going on, that will be on-field analytics, and if you are using it afterwards, that will be off-field data analytics.
Okay. So nowadays we come across lots of sensors.
Yeah.
If it's in the football, or it's in the stump, or the bat, or the ball, anything. So this is mainly for the purpose of data collection,
Yes, exactly.
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how accurate this data is that we are getting from it? And how reliable that data is? Because we are making the assumptions, making our forecasting or interpretation on the basis of that.
Yeah.
So how reliable is that data?
So before using something while a match is going on, it is actually being used previously. I mean, before actual use. Right? So it has been tested, and because of which it is getting used while the match is going on. So it is trustworthy. And how much trustworthy? See, whenever we collect the data, it is never in 10 numbers, 10 rows, 10 columns like that. It is thousands of rows and hundreds of columns which are getting generated, right? So the data is basically very large. And by analyzing that data, you clearly get the idea. So if you have done the analysis anytime, or maybe in future, if you do the analysis anytime, you will get the idea whether the data is correct or not. Because there is always a pattern in the data. If the pattern is not there, that means something is different or something is wrong. So you will have to detect the pattern. Okay. So generally you get the idea whether the data is correct or not.
Okay. And one more thing on top of my head is that statistics or data analysis is all about numbers.
Yeah.
So I myself, I am not good with numbers.
Okay.
So if I want to take it up as a career, if I want to get into it, how would you say, would it go? I mean, you need the knowledge, like you need a good mathematics knowledge or statistical knowledge. You need to be good with numbers, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
But if someone like me wants to take up with sports data analysis, how do we go about it?
So conceptually, you should be at least familiar with the basic concept of statistics. That is actually very important. So if you don't know what is basically, let us say, mean median mode, so we are not going to get forward with the other concepts which are more, what we say, difficult than this, right? So basic concept at least you should know every time, and you should be familiar with the technology. Now, obviously, as I told you, we are going to use many technologies like Python. There is Python, there is R, there are visualization softwares also. So you will be dealing with these technologies. So at least you should like these technologies, because you will be working forever with these technologies, right? So you should be familiar with one of them at least, so that you can go ahead with it.
Okay. And which one is the most famous or most widely used programming or software that we come across in sports data analysis?
There is R and Python, both of them. So R is basically the statistical tool, and again, see, both are similar. I may say they are not same; they are similar, but it is just Python is not only not only statistical
Yes,
use. It has different uses.
Yes.
R is basically useful for any statistical method you want.
Okay.
So, but uses of both are similar.
And so there will be young viewers watching this episode who are eager to make their careers in sports data analysis. So how do you say such students go in making their career, and what advice would you give them if they want to take up this as a career?
So you should have basic knowledge of mathematics and statistics. That is the main requirement of this analytics field. You should be aware of at least you should be aware with the technologies like Python, R, and the programming language. These are the programming languages. At least you should be keen towards them. It is not necessary that you have the knowledge in prior. Okay, at least you should be interested in them. Make your portfolio, go for the different internships which will help you to work in the actual field. Then build your portfolio likewise, and then apply for any entry level jobs which will offer you to work in that field. Because once you enter the field, now it will be up to you how you advance yourself.
Exactly.
It's so that is it.
And how would you say sports data analysis will be different for a sports professional and a non-sports professional?
So basically, as I told you earlier, the work will be behind the scene. So no, I don't know how many people will be noticing your work, but definitely your work is going to impact others' work. So their performance, obviously, see, we don't tell players directly what they should do.
Right.
We inform coaches, we inform the other people who are relevant to the work, right? So directly we are not going to talk with anyone, but obviously our work is going towards them, and it is going to help them to increase their performance.
Okay. Can you tell us what job roles or job profiles are there for the people who want to get into sports data analytics?
Yeah, so sports analyst jobs are there, but they start from collecting the data. So basically, first of all, you will be collecting the data before you start working on the data set. So possibly that at the first you will be working on collecting the data set. So there are a few companies like Viacom and etc., ESPN maybe. So these companies are there which what they require the sports analyst, right? And again, there are few fantasy leagues also. Obviously, they are going to require the sports analyst.
So if I'm not wrong, the sports fantasy sports the apps and all, they work on basis of that itself.
Yeah, sports analysis.
The very core of it is sports data analysis. Okay. Now I'm interested in knowing that there are lots of different sports that we don't even know about, and we know only the famous ones or
Yeah,
that we
exactly.
see on a regular basis.
Yes.
So for every sport, would you say there are different tools which are being used, different methods or tools or softwares which are being used
Yeah.
to analyze the data of the players and the tools and the softwares? Is it different for individual sport and team sports?
Actually, no. See, there are, I may say, hundreds of softwares which are being used for the analysis purpose. But there are many options you have, but there are very few famous options or very few useful options you have, right? So there are few languages which are very helpful, and because of that they are very famous. Like the two which I mentioned, Python and R. So these are widely used languages. That means what there are many companies which are using these languages for the analysis purpose, right? So now that analysis can be of any data or any sport related data, right? So it is not sport related, which sport you are analyzing. It is just what you are using, which software you want to use, and what software you are familiar with. That is what is going to make the difference.
Okay. Now that you're sitting in front of me, so I'll take the advantage. I am very much interested in F1 and I follow F1 a lot. So I am very curious to know as to how they are, because it's very fast paced.
Yeah.
So how are they keeping a track of the data, and how are they making interpretations out of it?
Yeah, exactly. So there are cameras and sensor everywhere that you already know, which are collecting the data continuously. So it totally depends. See, just to give you an example, if your car is taking a turn, if the road is not wide, if it is short, narrow road, right? So taking a turn for a car is difficult, right? So if it is a wide road, your car can take a turn easily.
Yes.
Right. So this is what was known after the analysis. Right. And the tracks were developed like that.
Okay.
So this is just one thing. So like this, there are other things also which are getting developed because you have done the analysis or someone has done the analysis.
Yes.
Of them.
Because we see that.
Yeah, exactly. Sports analytics is India is now started developing, right? So previously, as we already, if you see in the previous generation, they were already interested in cricket only, right? So they never knew there are other games which exist. So right now, if you see, we are keen towards all the games, not just cricket. So in future, I think this is going to get increased, and people are people will be getting interested in for all the games, right? So I think the sports analytics industry is going to get increased or going to get more broad in future. So I think there will be more job opportunities available for sports sports analysts, and if someone is interested in the sports analysis field, then I think he or she should get the basic knowledge which is required for the field.
Okay. And would you say that I want to know if only the big leagues like IPL or people playing at international level, these people only are using data for their interpretations, or the smaller leagues also playing at a mid-level, they are also using to make their interpretations?
Yeah. So data analytics is basically whenever you analyze something, it becomes analysis, right? But if you are using some technologies to analyze something, then that's what is going to differ, right? So maybe people analyze it what we say personally, but they don't use technologies for the smaller games, right? So if they use the technologies, they are going to help them for the analysis, obviously, because whenever you are playing any suppose there is a single game which is getting played, so the data is not much big, so smaller data will be there, and you can evaluate that data if you have the experience also, right? So when the data is big enough that you cannot even evaluate or you cannot recognize the pattern of the data, that's when the technology becomes important to for the evaluation purpose. So obviously the big leagues are going to need the technology.
Yes, right.
Right. And the smaller leagues, since they are smaller, they may or may not need the technology. But even if they are needing the technology, they may not know where to find the people who know the technology, right? So possible that in the future they are also going to require the people who know the technology so that they can analyze the games.
Okay. And is it that team sports require more of data interpretation than a single player sport?
Yeah, because the data will be much bigger, obviously, because in a team there will be, suppose there are 7 people, each 7 of them, right, is generating a data which is getting analyzed. Now, as a team they are getting evaluated, and as a person also they are getting evaluated, right? So obviously the data is going to be big, and it is going to take much more efforts than evaluating a single player.
Even in PKL, I guess they are following that
exactly.
data, and then the auction is happening, and the players are being sold at accordingly.
So again, that is off-field data.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in for today's show. We had a great chat with Harshada More ma'am. And for such sports-related topics, catch us on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Google Podcast.